next hack is my favorite one. You're gonna have to pay for it one way or another because that's what the internet tells us. Guess what? Your to-do list could be put 2 dishes in the dishwasher. Great, let's do it. Hello, my friends, welcome here. I'm Aimee Esther. I live with multiple chronic illnesses and I am a chronic illness expert. And today I wanted to share with you my home hacks specifically for the chronically ill, but this will help anyone who is struggling to keep their home together and they have limited energy and maybe are in a lot of pain. And before we jump into the hacks, I want to let you know that this video is a collaboration with some of the other speakers coming to the Get Organized HQ virtual conference that's coming in September. It starts September 9th. It's virtual, it's free, and you are going to love it. I spoke at this conference last year, and I'm coming back again this year to share the ultimate productivity guide with chronic illness, and I will link down below the playlist of all the other creators here on YouTube who are making videos about the best home hacks. And if you're coming here from that playlist and you don't know who I am, welcome. All right, my friends, let's jump into my favorite home hacks. My first hack is to stop the routines. I think we get this mindset that we have to have the perfect morning routine and we have to have the perfect cleaning routine and work routine because that's what the internet tells us. Because we see these pretty videos of people doing these perfect morning routines and they talk about how great life is with the morning routine. But as much as I would like to do these routines every single day, when you live with chronic illness and health issues that change day by day, you don't know how you're going to feel, it can be very, very difficult to stick to a routine. And so I have found a lot of peace of letting go of the strict, rigid routine. Now, do I have general things that I do? Yeah, usually, but I don't need to stick to some exact routine in order to get all the things done that I need to. But if you do really like routines and it fills your soul with joy, then of course, keep doing routines, but I recommend simplifying them as much as possible. They don't have to be this big, huge event. It can just be a few little things. And that leads me into the next hack, which is to have a small task list. So what I mean by this is when you are making your to-do list for the day, if you like to-do lists, again, sometimes being a little more flexible, not so rigid, is actually a perfectly fine way to do things. You do not need a to-do list, but if you are a to-do list person, you don't have to do big things. We think that on our to-do list needs to be do the dishes, check. Do the laundry, check. No. Guess what? Your to-do list could be put 2 dishes in the dishwasher. It could be fold 1 shirt. We just think we have to finish a task if we start it, but what if your to-do list didn't have to be finish the dishes, it was just spend 2 minutes on the dishes. Spend whatever energy I have for that morning on the dishes instead of completing the task. If we start something, we don't have to finish it. And I know that hurts, and I know it's really hard to accept, especially if you are a type A personality and you just like to have everything perfect and get it all done. I know it's hard, but I promise you, you'll actually end up getting more done by doing small little things than by doing a big thing and burning yourself out. If you have the energy to do all the dishes, great, let's do it. But if you don't have the energy for that, it's okay to just do a little bit. It doesn't have to be all or nothing, which my brain tends to lean to, just cutting everything out completely if I can't do it. But I have to remind myself that I can just do one simple task, one little thing that leads me closer to my goal without actually completing the whole thing. The next home hack for the chronically ill is to put the things you use the most at waist level. I am one that is not the best at organizing. I want to be. I love organizing, but I have a hard time with it. So what I found to be the most helpful is to put the things that I use the most, whether it's dishes or certain foods in my pantry, at waist level, so I'm not reaching up or bending down so much, because when you have limited energy, saving all of those little bits of energy does make a big difference. If I'm standing up or if I'm needing to sit in a wheelchair or something like that, then I have it in reach of me sitting down in my wheelchair. Which leads me to the next hack, which is to sit down as much as possible. I sit down when I do the dishes, I sit down when I cook, I sit down when I'm doing my makeup or hair, and I even sit down in the shower, actually, because I get exhausted so quickly. I get sick when I stand too long. And so when I can sit down as much as possible, it helps me to get a lot more done. And kind of combining the last two tips together, when it comes to things like laundry, I put my clothes at a low level. My kids' laundry is really low, so I can sit on the floor and do all of it at that level. I don't have to stand up and reach up to a ton of things. I don't hang my clothes up. There's very few things that I hang up because it just takes a lot more of my energy to stand and sit and move around that much, which probably to the average person seems a little extreme, but if you live with chronic fatigue or chronic pain, you know what it's like to just have to save every possible spoon. The next hack is to spend money to save energy. This is something that I've had to really learn to accept, that I have to pay for it somehow. Whether it's with my energy or with money or with time or with a combination of both. If I want to clean my house, for example, I could spend a little bit more money and get a robot vacuum to help vacuum up my floors, or I could save that money, but it's going to take me a lot more energy to then vacuum my floors every day. Same with making dinner. I could spend a little bit more money on a meal delivery service, whether they deliver just the groceries or they deliver the meals made and I stick them in my microwave, or I could save that money and spend more energy cooking the meal. Remember, you're gonna have to pay for it one way or another. What are the things that you've spent money on that you do not regret? I will tell you the thing that I spent a lot of money on that I 100% will never regret is my dishwasher. We spent a lot of money on that thing, but holy cow, has it made such a big difference in my energy levels. I get my dishes done so much easier and faster. My next hack is, of course, to simplify your stuff. It's been said before, but you've got to have less stuff. The less stuff you have to clean up, the less you have to put away. And there's a few things specifically I want to talk about in this category. Now, the first is cleaning supplies. I used to have all these different cleaning supplies and have to lug around this huge cleaning bucket to try to clean my bathroom and my kitchen and all the places. Now I have one cleaner. It's called Force of Nature. I love it. It is non-toxic. It just uses vinegar, salt, and water, but it makes a disinfectant cleaner. I will link it down below. I'm obsessed with it. I use it for absolutely everything. And it's super clean, super easy. It works in the bathroom, it works in the kitchen, it works in my steam mop. Like, I use it almost everything. I do have a different one that I use for the toilets. I use the disposable toilet ones for the toilets, but pretty much everything else, I use my Force of Nature. And the next specific thing I want to talk about when it comes to decluttering is your clothes. I find that I typically go to the same clothes all the time. I wear a t-shirt and some comfortable pants. And I have a few outfits that I always reach for the same ones. And what I've decided is that I don't want to have two sets of clothes. I used to have my going out clothes and my home clothes, and I didn't ever feel comfortable in my going out clothes, but I felt like I had to have the pair of jeans. I had to have whatever the cute top was so that I could go out, but it wasn't that comfortable for me. So instead, I've decided that whatever my going out clothes are my home clothes. And if they're not comfortable enough to lay on the couch all day, then they are not in my closet. All right, my next hack is my favorite one. So what you can't see in this video is the pile of stuff here and the pile of stuff there that I haven't really got to. And I am someone who, I'm sitting in a room like this where there's clutter and things that I haven't had the energy to clean up, and I have a hard time focusing, but I don't always have the physical energy to do it. It can be overwhelming when your whole house is messy and you can't clean it up. So what I like to do is I dedicate one room in my house as the safe room. This room has moved around, Currently, it is my bedroom, and what the safe room is one room in the house that I keep clean. And I choose a room that is the easiest to keep clean during that phase of life. So when I had a newborn baby, it was actually my baby's room because my room had so much stuff in it from the baby and postpartum and all of that stuff that it was too hard to keep clean. I made the baby room my safe room. So I have one room that always stays as clean as I can. Now, I'm not perfect. Right now it's my bedroom. Yeah, sometimes I don't make my bed, but I find that I just feel so much better when I have one room where I can feel calm and I can feel peace and I can feel order. And the last hack, you knew this was coming if you've been here before, come join my online community. I have a community for people who live chronically ill. I coach everybody in there and we just support each other through this hard, difficult trial of chronic illness. So if you are needing some extra support, you're looking for people who actually understand what it feels like to live with chronic illness and who won't judge you, and you need a safe space, a place where you can dump that mental load of chronic illness, it's my community. So I will leave a link down below. It's only $9 a month, and I would love to see you there. And again, we also have the free conference of Get Organized, which will be linked down below, and the playlist of all of the home hacks from others who are speaking at the conference. That will be linked down below as well. All right, I think that's everything. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you on my next video. Bye, my friends.